Hello everyone, my name is Aaron and welcome back to my channel Built on Cinema. Today we are going to be taking a look at an absolutely legendary LEGO set. This is set number 7783. It's the Batcave, the Penguin and Mr. Freeze's Invasion. Comes in at 1,075 pieces and retailed for $90 back in 2006 when it was released. Of course the price is a lot more than that today. Comes with 7 minifigures, so let's go ahead and take a look at them. Our first minifigure included is Batman, of course. This is in the all black suit that kind of looks like the Michael Keaton outfit. I think that was the whole goal with this one. You could see what the head looks like underneath. This was kind of that original headband idea that we would see in later years with the Batman minifigures. He's got the chunkier Type 1 cowl. It's just a really cool, nostalgic looking minifigure. Our next minifigure here might actually be my favorite in the entire set. This is Robin, of course, and when I think of a LEGO Robin, this is the design I think of. It was super iconic with that 2008 LEGO Batman video game, so there's that reason for it, but I just think overall it is a great representation of the Robin character. I love the yellow opposed to the black cape that we would get in later years for Robin. It's just so bright and colorful, and I also really like the hairpiece for this figure, which I know a lot of people don't for some reason. This figure is pretty expensive on the secondary market, around $60 or so. With that wavy hairpiece that he comes with, he actually is exclusive to this set. Moving on, we have the Bruce Wayne included with this set, and this is that LEGO Batman one design for him as well, with the dark blue suit, the smooth black hair. It's a classic looking minifigure. I don't know that this is my favorite Bruce Wayne that they've released, but I like the minifigure regardless. It's just very, very simple, but that's just a product of the time. The face print was used across a multitude of minifigures, and I believe the torso and legs were also used on a character from the Indiana Jones theme. This is also how he appears in the video game, so it's pretty nostalgic. Moving on, we've got Alfred, yet another character in this set that you can argue has their best iteration in this set. This Alfred has 360 hair printing across the top of his head, the sides of his head, and the back of his head. I love the torso print with this one. Yeah, I really like the design for Alfred in the LEGO Batman movie sets with kind of that bald piece, but I think this is probably the second best, if not the best Alfred that they've released. It's very clearly inspired by kind of his Batman the Animated Series look, and just such a classic figure to see. Moving on, we have the Mr. Freeze Goon, or Mr. Freeze Henchman, whichever you would prefer to say. It is probably the most simple figure in the set, containing no torso or back torso printing, but it is a very classic design, and this minifigure includes a Tommy gun, although they kind of just show the gun laying in the accessories kit in the Batcave set, which we'll see later. Moving on, we have Mr. Freeze, who is actually tied with Robin for third figure in this set. This figure is such a classic. Mr. Freeze is my favorite Batman villain, and I love the simplicity of this figure. I don't know that it's my favorite Mr. Freeze LEGO has made, but gosh, isn't there something so classic about this design for him? Once you remove the armor and the helmet, the gun, all that, you can see the figure is very, very simple, containing no printing on the rest of his body, but once you actually add everything together here, this figure really, really comes together. That white hose piece used on his freeze gun is actually very expensive on the secondary market. Usually you'll find one of those for $20, and usually that'll kind of separate the value between a $40 Mr. Freeze minifigure and a $60 one. Lastly, for your traditional minifigures in this set, we have the Penguin, who is also in a very classic design featured in the LEGO Batman video game. And man, I've always loved this classic design for Penguin. I love the orange vest that he's got going on with the purple bow tie, and there's just a very, very classic look to him, especially in that face print with a very flat and wide looking smile and his monocle. His accessory is an umbrella, as you can see. No back head printing as to be expected with these figures from this era, and it wouldn't make sense for Penguin anyway. The last character, or characters technically included in this set, are the Penguin's penguin robots. So these are made up of a few pieces. It's got a revolver, which is pretty funny to see a penguin wielding a revolver. This is also included as an official character in the LEGO Batman video game roster, and is kind of the blueprint for what we would see in later years with newer iterations of these penguin robots, with the revival of the DC theme in 2012. And it is worth noting that 3 of these penguin robots are included in the set with identical builds. The first side build includes included is a block of ice that you're meant to break open and stick a minifigure in for Batman or Robin to rescue while fighting Mr. Freeze. And on the box art, it shows Alfred in there, so you're meant to kind of trap him, but you can really put any character you want in there and have Mr. Freeze freeze them, and then Batman or Robin break them out. With Mr. Freeze being my favorite Batman villain, I imagine I would have loved this as a kid, just pointing that freeze gun at whatever poor minifigure I wanted and making Batman rescue them. Moving on, we've got Robin's jet ski vehicle included in the set, and I actually really like this little design here. Robin would get a full boat design later on in the theme, but there's something about this little build that I just like so much. There is a sticker featured on the front of the vehicle, and LEGO has you put it on sideways, with two studs really being where you want to stand the Robin minifigure. Penguin Submarine is another vehicle that would become its own larger set later on in the theme in 2008, and is actually a pretty complete vehicle by itself. It has guns or blasters on the front with movable feet and a propeller in the back of the vehicle, which you could adjust from both sides, while the sides or top of the vehicle open up to allow you to actually place the Penguin minifigure inside. It does have a small interior with some little details as well, including a meter and some kind of knob for the Penguin to be able to control this. There is also a periscope built into the inside that will allow you to control it from the outside. Sticking the Penguin minifigure into the submarine is incredibly easy. You just have to open up the side hatches, which are secured by hinged plates, and just fold it up top. Here's another look at how to do that. Like I said, just placing the figure in there and closing up the sides. Real nice and easy. The area where the two sides connect actually allow a few studs for Penguin to stand on top if you'd like to have the figure displayed that way in the Batcave. That's probably how I'm going to do it myself, just because I want all of my characters visible. A bat sled? Bat ski? Is also included in the set. I don't know what we want to call this exactly, and I couldn't find an official description from LEGO. I like Bat Sled though. I think we're going to go with that for the rest of the review. The Bat Sled has adjustable bat wings towards the top of the vehicle, and the area that you open up in the cockpit to actually seat a minifigure is just secured with this window piece. Placing in Batman is also pretty easy. I would just recommend removing his cape, as you don't really want that to get damaged with those old paper style capes. The inside of the Bat Sled is pretty simple as well, with some basic tech readings visible on a 1x2 printed tile, and there's also a flap piece where you place a Batman logo sticker along with a machine gun on the front of the Bat Sled, which is funny since Batman doesn't kill, and the back of the vehicle has flames coming out of it, which I also think look pretty cool. Taking a look at each section of the Batcave from left to right gives us our first section here, which works as a dock and also a tower for the Batcave, with little details here and there leading all the way up to the top tower, including these torches on each side. The upper level of this tower here contains a little section where you can seat a minifigure and pivot this cannon, which can be controlled via the turn knob gear in the back of this little mechanism here. Pushing this button right here will launch a net to land on one of your enemies, and pulling this red cone piece will launch a spring-loaded missile. Here's just a closer look at the printed dish for the bat signal. Moving on, we have arguably the most recognizable and iconic section of this set being the middle section, and it is just an image that I have seared into my brain from my childhood. All the YouTube videos containing this particular section, so many opportunities for play, including in this bottom section where there's a lot of room to actually stand your minifigures. You can see how many studs are down here. Going from the bottom to the top, you can get a closer look at some of the smaller details in this section, and the full look at the Bat computer with the various decals that are applied onto these pieces going from left to right really just ooze with so much fun and passion for this character and his background and his rogue gallery. The middle screen section has a reference to the Two-Face coin, and the left screen actually has Two-Face on it flat out. I also find it funny that there's a direct reference to Commissioner Gordon, despite us never actually getting a Gordon in the 06 to 08 Batman theme. The right screen contains a graphic with the Joker's information on it, which of course is unknown, and the Bat computer has 2 identical stickers on each side that mirror each other. I also love the references to various Batman rogues that are not included in this set, such as the Joker's Prince or this jewel from maybe Catwoman. And I love the fact that we get the little T-Rex trophy despite it not being as big as we've seen it before, along with a Joker bomb. Batman also has a katana on display from either Ra's al Ghul or a reference to his time training for Batman. There is also a little section where you kind of lift up on this plate and it's hinged with all sorts of tools and gadgets for Batman on the inside, going from handcuffs to the traditional batarangs we know to kind of this very odd looking batarang, a pistol included in the set, which is also funny for Batman, like I said, with him not killing, and the whole thing just kind of closes up very easily like so. The left chair of the Batcave swivels and turns a full 360 degrees along with the other one on the right side, so this is a nice little area for Batman and Robin to sit, and you can have Alfred off to the side. As I mentioned when putting Batman into the Bat sled, I do recommend taking the capes off just to kind of preserve those, considering these are very expensive figures. And man, isn't this top section just so iconic? There's so many areas and little details on it that I think really pull this together. All of the shots that you can get with the Bat computer are a lot of fun, and who doesn't get thrown back to their childhoods when taking a look at this section? The third section of the Batcave contains a jail cell for your villains included in the set, in addition to a suit changing area. A quick look around the bottom of the jail cell area will give you this right here, which as you can see kind of has some gaps to where the villains would be able to escape or just go straight throughout the back pipe of this area, but it is a cool build nevertheless. This section also contains identical flame torch pieces on each side. While the inside of the jail cell remains pretty open, you can see all of the studded area inside to actually pose your minifigures, although they can just escape through the back as I mentioned. Going up to the top area on this particular section will give you a look at the suit changing feature, which comes in the form of this pod kind of chained down to this area. The idea here is that you can open up the window on one side, grab your Bruce Wayne minifigure and kind of just place him in there, and then you close that up real easy, give it a turn around, and now Bruce Wayne is changed into Batman. This definitely isn't the best version of this feature we'd see. There's also a platform on here that you're just supposed to grab from the back, and that actually works as a trapdoor for a minifigure. All you have to do to remove that minifigure is remove the barrier lock on the front, lift the gate, and pull out that minifigure. So it's real easy to close up again, just throw that lock back on there, which fits in there perfectly. There also is a workout area which includes some weights for Bruce to lift. Just kind of a funny thought considering Bruce Wayne in this set is included in a dark blue suit, so it's just kind of funny to imagine him lifting the weights. And you also get bats all over this Batcave, one in particular kind of hanging on this catwalk bridge section between the sections of the Batcave. So there's a closer look at that. The entire area around this upper level is pretty simple, but I like it nonetheless. I think you've got another area on here that allows for some great play. And as for the adult use of it, well, you can kind of get some cool shot of Bruce dramatically standing in front of the bat suit, brooding as he does. The final section of the Batcave is actually a platform that connects directly to the bottom of the main section of the Batcave, which has the function to spin this gear knob and rotate this whole platform, which the whole idea here is that you can attach the ramp to it on the sides via a couple Technic connections and then actually have a ramp connected to the spinning platform for you to turn the Bat sled included in the set, which I will speed up that process here for you a little bit so you don't have to watch me do that super slowly. You could of course switch out this Bat sled for any Bat vehicle. You actually have a separate platform where you have a couple of tools set up. There are these big spotlights also included around the area. As for the set as a whole, I really can't stress how special this is. This is such a special video. This is such a full circle video on this channel. As I mentioned in my last video, we started this channel with a Lego Batwing review from 2012, which was a theme I was so excited for as a kid because I never had any of these 2006 to 2008 Batman sets. And seeing all of these sections put together, seeing the set as a whole with its minifigures and with its vehicles and all of its side builds, seeing everybody posed up in this set, it is just such a special experience that you can't understand till you have it yourself. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you had to be there for. Watching all those old stop motion videos on YouTube, seeing this Batcave, it's so iconic, it's so special, it means so much to so many people, especially my age, that seeing this thing in person, man, it's like, wow. I have this now. This is something that I can, really take photos with and do a video on and look at on my shelf or look at anywhere in my room. I think the amount of minifigures in this set is fantastic. All of the side builds are great. This set was only $20 more than the 2012 Batcave at the time of its release, but gosh, there's just so much included with it. I can't say enough good things about this set. Yes, I think the 2012 Batcave has so many improvements on kind of the concept in this set, but I think in a lot of people's cases, nostalgia wins on this one. Even on the set's own merit, as far as what it was included with for the retail price, I think there's so much here between the vehicles, nice minifigure selection, and great builds that any kid back in 2006 or 2008, I think would have gone crazy for this. And it is so special to finally have this missing piece in my collection that I have wanted since I was a child.